Firefall?
Well, I don't know if I was famous, but it was a lot of fun, and you meet a lot of people, and you have a lot of conversation.
What was your job exactly? What would you do?
Once I would pile the bark, then I went about doing my other chores, because then at night, at 7 o'clock, we used to light the fire, because it took about 2 to 2.5 hours for the red fir, see? For the red fir.
Here's the fir.
That's the fir.
Where'd you get that?
Oh, I had a piece hidden over there.
There were smaller pieces, so that it could become coal, embers.
So you would have, after 2 hours, a big stack of red-hot coal.
Very, very hot, yeah.
Okay, now that would take us up to 9 o'clock.
To 9 o'clock.
And that's when the firefall would occur.
Exactly.
And how exactly would that happen? How would you know when to push it off?
Well, we had a person down below at Camp Curry. I would have a flashlight, and I would signal to him. That meant that I'm ready for the firefall. So then he would call up, "Hello, Glacier." And I would call back and say, "Hello, Camp Curry." So the fellow down at the bottom would say at Camp Curry, "Let the fire fall." And I would say, "The fire is falling." And down at the bottom there would be a person who would play the violin and sing the Indian love call.
And you would be up here. How would you get the coals off?
And we had a very long grater, scraper. I was standing right over here and push it down.
Now, how would you pace yourself in pushing the coal?
Well, you get into a rhythm, because we were very, very careful. If we did a bad firefall, and I'm not exaggerating, I would get about 100 phone calls and say, "What a lousy firefall. What happened to you? Were you asleep?" Okay.
And what would make a lousy firefall?
A lousy firefall, I don't know. If probably we would hesitate between the strokes.
So there was a way you did it to just keep it continuous flow.
Like a fall.
Because don't you think most people today, when they ask you questions, do you get a lot of questions?
Yeah, because it seems like there are so many people that when they come back to Yosemite, they want to see the firefall again, or they want to see where it occurred. And so the common question is, where did it happen? And I just point to them right there.
Happened right here.
Before this big railing was put in '82.
And I was under the misconception that there was somehow another water connected with it. Nope. Isn't that another question you get?
Everybody says, well, where's the water around here for them to light on fire somehow? People couldn't understand how they made the water burn. I mean, so many people that really didn't see it. And if you'd seen it many times, you knew it was just off of the cliff. But a lot of people that had just heard about it, or maybe seen it once when they're really small, it looked like a waterfall, except it was fire on it. So, yeah, that was a misconception.
So it was never a waterfall. It was just your hot coals that you were pushing off.
Exactly.
How many people have seen the firefall? You're kidding. You're kidding. When?
1954.
You were here in 1954.
Yes.
You saw it.
Yes.
Was it as wonderful as everybody?
Yes, and everyone waited down below until it came down, and it was beautiful.
Could you hear them yelling back and forth?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
What was it like for you?
It was great, and any kids just absolutely loved it. It was the most exciting thing they ever saw. It was wonderful. It was beautiful to watch.
You remember seeing it?
I certainly do. Yeah.
Well, here's the guy right here who did it. Anybody want any autographs,
I was here
pictures?
in 1954, too.
Really?
When did you see it?
Really?
1946.
I thought,
46.
You saw it in 1946.
I certainly did.
You saw it.
Yelled many times, "Let the fire falls."
But you do it pretty well.
Oh, it was a fun night.
How did they do that again?
Let the fire falls. And he always answered back.
How was it you answered?
Fire is falling.
You better be careful. We're going to get this thing going off again. We better be careful. All right, let's go right out to the edge, because this is where it happened, right here. This is where you would push it right off.
Right between those two rocks over there. You see that nice smooth flat area?
Right there.
Right off here.
That's right. Yeah.
And Camp Curry would be
Right down there.
right below us.
Right below it. Yeah.
So that would be the way they would see it coming right down
Oh, yeah,
at
absolutely.
them.
Straight on, yeah, at them, yeah.
The firefall took place up on Glacier Point, but it was seen by spectators down on the valley floor, specifically Camp Curry. Now, Camp Curry is itself a story. Established in 1899 by David and Jenny Curry, it was the center of park activity almost from the start. Among other things, the place was famous for its nighttime campfires and nature talks. It was also famous for its nighttime entertainment program, which took place on its outdoor stage. Now, these programs were popular enough on their own, but it was at the end of the program at exactly 9 o'clock that the firefall took place. Well, Camp Curry is still there and still going strong, and the old outdoor stage is still there too, a reminder of earlier firefall days. You all were in charge of all the entertainment right here on this stage for how many years?
19 years.
19 years.
19 summers.
Now, what was that experience like?
It was just a marvelous experience, and it was a golden time.
Now, when you say golden time, why do you say
The
that?
audience had such a great time. We had 3,000 people every night, and they would come at 6 o'clock in the evening and wait till 8 o'clock for our show, and then the firefall came over at 9.
So you entertained them with various acts or musical acts? What would it be?
A family-type entertainment. We would have puppeteers, have singers, folk dancers with the authentic costumes.
Now, we've got some pictures over here that you brought.
Right.
And here, the ones on the top, you got 3 ladies playing 2 xylophones.
Yes, marimbas. And they started to call it the marimba capital of the world because we had too many the first year.
It's a wonderful routine.
Where did you find marimba players for Camp Curry?
We had to go looking for them, I'll tell you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Well, what was it about it? Was it the location? I mean, there's Half Dome right up there.
Yes, that's a beautiful
Was it the mood the people were in when they came here, that they wanted to have a good time? What was it that made this place so special at night?
The firefall. They came to see the firefall, and they were told about it, and what would happen is they'd come at 6 o'clock at night to wait for the show, 2 hours, and then they would show us for 1 hour, and then at 9 o'clock came the firefall.
So the suspense was building up.
Terrific suspense all the way.
President Kennedy was here for the firefall. We had it at the Iwani. Well, he was at the Iwani, but we had to delay the firefall a half hour because he was eating his meal. And the whole area was in disarray because it always went over at 9 o'clock.
So they wouldn't even permit it to be, even if the president was the reason. They wanted that firefall at 9 o'clock.
All the horns in the valley, all the cars were honking, and it still didn't bother him any. He just sat there, and when it was time to go, and then we sang the Indian Love Call for him, and that was it.
Well, it was a magical time, wasn't it?
Magical time, absolutely.
So the deal was that they would have entertainment from 8 to 9 o'clock here on this stage.
That's right.